Good evening, everybody. Scott Lanningham with you here on SL Radio. Been away for a while, back with my good friend and a great Austin legend, Ernie Durawa. We're listening to some of his music right now. Don't you worry about a thing. He's going to tell us a little more about what we're digging on, but say hi, Ernie. Everybody sees you out there.
Hey! All right. How you doing, Scott?
Let's dig the rest of this tune, then we'll come back and start yapping. All right.
Got it.
Oh, yeah. Hey, Ernie, how you doing, man?
Yeah, all right, man. Good to see you, Scott.
Hey, that was beautiful. Who was playing on that recording? Tell us everybody involved there.
Yeah, okay. That was our first Los Jazz Vatos recording. Actually, all the arrangements by Freddie Mendoza.
That was Freddie playing trombone.
Freddie, yeah, trombone and arranging. And we miss Freddie, but he left Austin. He's got a good gig up in Indiana. And Stephen Vague.
Stephen.
Great sax solo. I love his solo on this tune, especially,
Me too.
Jimmy Shortell playing trumpet.
Oh, cool.
And Brad Taylor playing bass.
All right.
And Terry Bonus on the piano.
Yeah.
And me.
Great
myself.
band.
Yeah.
Great spirit.
We don't play very often, but when we do, we only have, actually, in a span of 15 years, we have 2 albums out.
Yeah. Well, nobody's playing very often right now, are they?
No. In fact, I have a whole box full of them here from the second album, the CD that we did, because nobody buys CDs anymore. So.
You know how many times that I've heard that, about the box of LPs or CDs or cassettes or whatever that somebody has in a garage somewhere, right? And
I know.
I had some of my own, but in my favor, I couldn't afford more than about 50, so I never had that many box stuff that I couldn't get rid of. But that was very cool. I remember the first time I heard that tune by Stevie Wonder, Don't You Worry About a Thing. It came out, around 73, 74, something like that?
Yeah,
I think
so, yeah.
And I was in high school, maybe just getting out of junior high, going into high school or something. And my dad was like, at the time, he was just a jazz purist. And it was like, no rock and roll, no nothing, And I I love that tune so much. And I brought that 45 home. And it was like, no, you can't have that in the house. And I'm like, listen, it's full of jazz. Listen to the thing, man. It's like such a great tune. Isn't that just a wonderful tune? Yeah. So how are you holding up, man? By the way, housekeeping stuff. Ernie's, I try to put PayPal.me links. Ernie doesn't have a PayPal.me, but he does have Zelle. So you can hit Ernie with a tip at 512-913-4899 using the Zelle application. If you don't have it, get it on your phone because you need yet one more of those applications. You do. Everybody does.
Yeah.
I only have 450 on my phone, so why not add to the total, right? And Ernie's happy to take any kind. You can set up like a monthly draft of $100 or whatever. He's down for anything that you want to do. So, but anyway, how are you? How are you doing, and how is all this affecting you? I mean, everybody's got different impacts, but I know you've had some pretty rough ones, right, from this whole pandemic.
Well, yeah, I just lost my niece this past week from COVID she lived near Atlanta. She was only 56. So, it's, in fact, they told me there's going to be I can actually view the funeral tomorrow somehow on Facebook. So sort of, but
so sorry to hear
other
that.
than that, it's but I mean, like, what is it? 170,000 people now,
counting.
Or more going and counting, and so it's just scary. It really is.
And I've even thought I have a good friend that is dealing with a stroke right now, and and it's, I don't think he tested as having COVID, but the broader issue in many cases is with all of this going on, especially in areas where there's so much COVID patient load, or where everybody's having to be so much more careful, about this stuff in the hospitals, and the stress upon the frontline workers. Then you think about all of these other conditions that people deal with. And I think I saw some report the other day that said, the real fatality count is probably well over 200, because if you start taking into account the COVID impacted cases where people didn't get treatment because they couldn't get into a hospital or didn't want to go, then then the cost is even greater than we know, So it's tough. It's some tough times to be living through, for sure.
Well, and like I feel like I'm basically like most people. I'm under house arrest, 23 hours at home, and I get 1 hour for exercise. So I get out and
that's
I
your
walk
walking hour, right? Yeah.
That's my walking hour. It takes exactly 1 hour to walk 2.5 miles. And that's what I do every evening, except for tonight. I took off tonight, which is okay. But I'll hit it again starting tomorrow. So every night, I've been doing this for about 3 months now, or maybe even longer.
Well, you are
walking every night.
You are on your phone, so you probably could go on the walk and just keep doing this if you wanted. You could talk to me while you're walking.
Yeah, it's a little complicated.
That could be fun.
I might run out of battery juice.
Yeah, and I want you to focus so you don't run into a telephone pole or something. You know.
It really, yeah. You know what's? Sometimes I have to watch the cars. Some people that drive so fast, and the cars will zoom right close to me. You know, It kind of scares me a little bit. You know, because there's a lot of drivers either on their phone or they're not paying attention. You know, is for the walkers. So I have to kind of watch when I'm walking out on the street. But my friend, I've been walking with Barfield. We call him the Tyrant of Funk. He had his show. He lost his residence at Continental Club. You know, he had a Thursday night residence forever there.
Yeah, right.
And you know, there's a lot of these venues. I'm not sure. I just heard, was it the 1-to-1? I heard that's folding.
Yeah.
And Hotel and several other, you know, Thread Gills is closed north, and so I don't know. I mean, gig-wise, what's going to happen? You know, I lost my residence. I had a really good residence, and I did like 8 years. I did 4 years at Strange Brew.
Right.
My residence there, and then that went down. So then, the very day that went down, they called me from El Mercado.
Right.
And I went back. I went over there, and I just about did 4 years there.
Have you heard anything from those guys as to if they think they're going to survive this or not, or it's just?
So far, they're surviving right now, you know, and it's really weird because it was. I went there about a few weeks ago, and my drums were still sitting up on stage, and it was almost something like out of the Twilight Zone.
Oh, I'm sure.
You know, because I walked in the backstage where the music is, and they had all these little tables, you know, they had arranged, you know, and I looked up, and here are the drums are just sitting there on stage, you know, and I'm looking around and I'm going, man, I had like such great 4 years of different guests. I had different guests every week and different genres of music, you know, I had blues, jazz, rock and roll, country, and that was the fun part about it, you know.
Oh, God,
and it was going really good. It was really going well, and you know, I had different guests. You know, I had Jimmy Vaughn there one night. You know, and I had I bring Morale Coriel down from New York a lot. You know, he came down to play with me.
That's Larry's.
And I had a lot of
Larry's son, or
Larry's son. Yeah, Larry's son, and he has a brother named Julian also. And so I've done about three records with him. Yeah,
we're going to play a couple of those cuts, right? There's some good stuff.
Yeah, we'll play some of that. And I just went up to New York, and I actually played at the Iridium with him in New York for his 50th birthday. You know, and we had the blues singer Kenny Neal from Louisiana joined us, and that was October that I was there, right? And so this pandemic in New York, it probably was about ready to hit, because I think January is when it really hit there in New York City. So I was there in October, and then October 15th is exactly the date. So on the 16th of October, I jumped on a plane and I flew from Albany to Atlanta to San Jose to go play with the Tornadoes.
Wow.
And I mean, talk about going across America.
Yeah, you know? No kidding. Wow.
And so when I got to Atlanta, I told them, I said, hey, how many hours is it from here to San Jose? You know, and they went, that's 5 hours. I said, okay, well, upgrade my ticket to first class. You know, I don't care what it costs. Well, that's going to be $600. $600. Oh, and the gig only paid like $500. Well, who cares? The hell with it, man.
Yeah.
Give me,
you know. So
I just gave him my credit card.
Yeah.
And you know what? It was the best decision. I mean, I grooved all the way there and had a nice first class. I never fly first class, you know, but I did this time. It was so nice, and I had the little cheesecake and the little wet towel for my face, you know. And I could cross my legs, you know, that kind of thing.
I've never done that on a plane. It's never been possible where I've been sitting. You know, they should have a seat with a little plaque on it for you. Honestly, for all the great music you've laid down over the years, the airline should have a special seat just for you.
Well, I actually now, you can't get on a plane without a mask. You can't, it's got to be crazy to fly now.
Yeah.
And I really wanted to go up to Nashville and see some of my friends up there, but I just don't want to jump on a plane right now. And I have all the free time, and the tickets the tickets are cheap right now, because nobody's flying.
Yeah,
not as many, But I'm just, you know what? I'm just laying low. I'm just going to stick around the house and do what I'm doing here.
It's hard, the early part of this, the way we pace ourselves, being used to things like storms or whatever, and you go, okay, a few weeks, I'm going to button it up. But it's gone on so long now, it's like, it's really hard to continue to stay vigilant or whatever they want to say the word is about, Yeah. And for me, I pretty much stayed home. The only thing I've done is go to the grocery store and a couple of trips to Home Depot, and I haven't even been to Austin since about March 14. I'm not even sure which road to take to go from Cedar Park to Austin again. But it's weird.
You live in Cedar Park.
Yeah, it's been a long time since I've been into town. But at some point, I know we have to, just for our mental health, we got to venture out and got to have some connection. But the right kind of connection, right at a distance, and not crowds and mask up and all that kind of stuff. But.
And the other thing too is every year, usually January, I always go out to the NAMM show in Anaheim. It's a big music trade show.
Yeah, right.
And I can't imagine going there. There probably won't be one in January, I don't think, because it's so packed with people are just all crunched up on each other. I can't see that happening. People coming from all over the world.
Yeah.
But I remember it being such a blast to see everybody playing, and everybody in the music business is walking around. You can see them all,
Are we going to have it like that again? It's going to, have you seen some of these things people have put out about, would you come to a concert like this, and they'll show like what looks like a drive-in movie theater, and everybody's in their car,
that.
And it's like, well, if you're in your car, how are you going to hear it? If it's coming through your car in FM or something, or if you're outside and each person has their own little platform that they're sitting on that's so many feet away from the next platform, and it's just kind of...
Well, did you see last night the convention, at the end of the convention, if you were watching it, everybody was in their cars when Biden was done talking. They went outside. They had a fireworks show.
Yeah.
All these fireworks going, and everybody was in it. All these cars. It was like a drive-in theater.
Wow.
Everybody was sitting there, and they all had their blinkers on. And all the cars were blinking. All the lights were blinking. It was kind of cool in a way.
That is cool. I missed it last night. I saw the first two nights. There was some really great stuff, and I'm going to have to go back and watch the recording of last night. But I maybe drive-in movie theaters are going to make a big comeback. Who knows?
Well, I remember those, man. When I was a kid, I used to sneak in to the drive-in theaters to the back so we could get in to watch the movies for free.
Yeah,
we'd go and watch Dracula and Frankenstein. We'd go watch those old movies, scary movies when we were kids.
That's all they had when I was young, and in those few years we lived in Colorado. Was a drive-in movie theater that was 30 miles away, and we'd go there in the summer months, for the weekend movie run, and it was always a double feature, and we'd see stuff that kids had no business seeing because my parents, they had no choice. Yeah. They'd go in, and then they would, give us a pillow and say, put your head down underneath the pillow for this part so you can't watch it, that kind of stuff. I remember when we talked them into going into Blazing Saddles. That was one of was one of the great victories for my brother and I. We were probably 13 and 10 or something, and we said, "Hey, this is supposed to be a good family picture. Let's go see Blazing Saddles." And my dad left. We're at the campfire scene, when the cowboys all were eating beans, and he said, "That's it." And he took the speaker and threw it out the window, those old metal speakers. And the cord caught and swung all the way around the pole and came back and hit the side of the car and made a dent in the car, So
I remember those.
Good
really
memories.
Well.
Hey, let's play another tune. What should we lay on them next here, you think? What are you feeling?
What do you have? We
mentioned Coriel. Do you want to play one of those tunes that he's on? We got
Sure.
Let's Straighten It
Yeah.
Out, or This Masquerade, or I know someone in the crowd we're going to save for in a little moment, but
That's a good album. We have Tony Levin. You know Tony Levin, bass
oh
player.
gosh,
Yeah,
yeah.
he's playing bass on both of those tracks. And
Straighten Out and Masquerade.
yeah, he's playing
Okay.
bass on those. And then also Bill Evans, the sax player, not the piano player's gone. Sax player Bill Evans,
Yeah.
he's on that album, but he's not on. I don't think he's on either one of those cuts. But he's on a different cut. I should have sent you that, but yeah, Bill Evans is pretty cool. I
Wow.
thought that was.
What's your pleasure?
Morale knows these guys because the history with Morale has a lot of history because of his dad.
Yeah, right. Larry Coryell.
And the stories that I remember. I'll tell you the story real quick. It was like Morale told his story one time. He said he was like it was Miles Davis was at his house, because his dad had been playing with Miles, and he was at his house, and it was Morale's birthday, and Morale was his mom looks over to Miles. Miles was there. He had $100 bill, and he was snorting coke out of it, right? And he goes. Morale's mom looks at him. She goes, "Hey, Miles, it's Morale's birthday today." And Miles goes, "You know how he talks? Say, man, it's your birthday. Here." He hands him the money, of course, without anything in it.
Right.
And Morale looks at it. He opens it up and he goes, "Wow, $100 bill." He says, "Man, I went out and bought all these G.I. Joes. Man, I was so excited." He's like, he's a little kid, And but things like that, people would come to him.
Wow.
Jimi Hendrix was carried around in a bassinet when he was a baby. That's why he wrote a song called "I Was in the Room with Jimmy."
Wow.
Yeah, Jimmy was in the room with me. It was true because
what great
I
stories.
didn't realize that Larry Coryell actually played with Jimi Hendrix. I thought, well, that's kind of a weird thing because Jimmy's Larry's a little jazzer, and Jimmy's playing all this crazy, whatever you call it, his music, but apparently he did.
Wow, how interesting.
And and Larry, Morale chose to be more of a blues singer. He didn't. I mean, he can play some jazz licks. I've heard him play jazz licks, but he's he's such a great voice, and when he sings, he just. I love his.
Yeah, he's got a super voice. So this is his record, right? You guys all playing on his record.
It is his record.
Are they both vocal tunes? They both are vocal tunes, right? Straighten Out.
Can you see that?
There it is. Yes, we can. And explain people so they don't think it's a super patriotic, Republican album there.
Oh, Mr. Senator.
What's that about?
Well, Mr. Senator was really a tune that was written about Ted Cruz to blast him, not to praise him, because it was a political record,
Right.
So there's a cut on there called Mr. Senator, but the album was Mr. Senator. Yeah, they came up with this flag thing, but no, we none of us. We never mentioned his name.
Did he buy?
You'd have to hear the words.
Be interesting if he had that CD on his playlist and didn't realize it was about him.
Yeah, and I think that we were able to get this record to Beto O'Rourke.
Oh, cool.
O'Rourke. When he was running for senator or whatever he was running. I think he was running against it.
Yeah, right, he was.
Right?
Yeah.
And so we got this to him,
He got close, too. He got close.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he's a bass player. If he'd been a drummer, then he would have won,
You're right.
That's the difference, right? Kirk Covington's been watching. I'm sure Kirk would agree with that. If he'd just been a drummer, that would have been what put him over the top.
Are you able to see the comments on your
Yeah,
side?
it's a shame. I usually can show them on the stream, but because I pre-scheduled this one, and you use a custom stream key with this software, then it doesn't pull the comments into the stream. But they're still on Facebook commenting. I know it's too much. You can't see it because you're on your phone. But Kirk is tuned in. Jimmy Cochran, Catherine Joe Beeman, Let's see. Steve has turned in Clay, Joe, Alton Sinclair. A lot of good folks, a lot of friends joining and checking out. Robbie Parrish. So it's
Robbie made it.
Yeah. Daniel DeForge just checking in, saying hello.
Alton used to play a trombone with us after Freddie left.
Did he really?
He played a few gigs with us.
He was on this show recently. He's great. He's a wonderful player, man.
Yeah,
cool dude.
I think he got a teaching gig somewhere, right, in Temple or somewhere like that.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's what he's doing now, as well as making badass music.
Yeah.
So, do you want to play Straighten Out or Masquerade? What do you think? What are you feeling?
I'll try Masquerade.
All right. So again, the name of the album is what? Mr. Senator.
Yeah.
Okay. And it's Morali Coriel and Ernie Durawa on drums. Everything else after that is just frosting. Here we go.
Are we really happy with this lonely game we play? Searching for words to say, searching but not finding your door standing anywhere. We're lost in a masquerade. Oh yeah. Both afraid to say that we're just too far apart from ever being closer from the start. We try to talk it over, but the words got in the way. We're lost inside this lonely game we play. Hard to keep on weeping every time I see your eyes. No matter how hard I try, understand the reasons why we carry on this way. We're lost in a masquerade. Do 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 do, yeah. In a masquerade. Do 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 do. in a mass grave.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, he does have a cool voice.
All right, somebody got through here.
Oh, they
And
did?
so the do not disturb didn't work.
So
for
do
some
not.
reason.
So everybody, you all want to say hi to Ernie, but just stay on Facebook right now because he's on his phone, and if you try to message him, it's gonna make it so his phone stops working. So
That's what happened.
well, it was during the music, so everything was cool. Could you still hear
Yeah.
it? You still hear it?
I hear it.
Yeah.
It sounded like a little bit distorted in there. I don't know.
It might have been
something.
cranked up too loud on my end.
Is that what it was? Yeah, it sounded a little bit distorted. Some of it did, but that's Anyway, that was it.
Yeah, that was very cool. And the and that other cut we have. Is there anything else you wanted? That was a really cool session with all those players. How long ago was that? Did you already mention that? When did you guys do that recording?
That was done here actually at.
Just a few years ago.
Yeah, about 2 or 3 years ago. Yeah, and it was done over at Mesa Recording in Del Valley. It's a really cool studio out there. It's really cool, really nice studio.
Nice.
And the latest album we did is called Made in Texas, and that was done at the Ice Cream Factory studio, which is in North Austin.
Mm.
And both those engineers are top-notch guys. They
Nice.
really do good. But the other thing you may want to talk about is, we lost our buddy Rich Harney not long ago.
Yeah.
And I went to that memorial, and I never saw so many people at that church. I mean, they were like outside and inside.
I know.
He had a ton of friends, man.
He sure did.
And a sweet little guy. I loved Rich a lot. And so he was on this session, and I did this record with Aaron Lack and the Vibe Tet,
Yeah.
which you should have.
Yeah, we're going to play that.
It's a recording that probably a lot of people have not heard Rich Harney play on this. I mean, or this actual recording. May have been one of the last recordings that I know of, that I'm aware of that
he
Rich,
did.
That he did. Yeah.
I played one of the. I think I played. I may have played the last gig or the next to the last gig with him.
Really?
It was. We were at the Elephant. We played a gig at the Elephant with Ephraim, I think it was.
Wow.
And I think it was. He may have played once more after that, or he was supposed to have a gig and
he was getting.
it.
He was getting ready to go play that night, I believe. Right.
Yeah, he had to cancel something, and that was such an unexpected, tragic thing to lose him so young, and such an influential guy, in this town. He'd been one of those long haul Austin jazz cats, right? He'd been here since the 70s, the mid or late 70s or something like that. Well, I can't remember when he hit town.
Yeah, I met him, because I came to Austin in 77, 76 or 77.
And he was already here?
And I think he was already here, yeah. Or maybe came about the same time, because I met him years ago.
Yeah, I love Rich. And one of the first people I played with when I moved here in 81, and I was playing gigs with he and Susie and Cola and Paul
Cola,
Glass was playing. We were playing up at the top floor of Jorge's on 6th Street, where all the frat people would go and party so loudly that they would just bury the band with their conversation, just bury us, and we'd play in that cage sometimes. Remember that cage up on the wall? It was weird.
What was that? Where was that?
At Jorge's, they had like this. You go upstairs and you walk out this door, and then you were basically in just like this giant cage that was suspended above the restaurant. It was like being in a bird cage playing,
Yeah.
But Rich was. He meant so much to so many people. Joe was tuning in. I know how much. I know how much Joe loved him and the way he spoke about him at his memorial service. And I was talking to somebody earlier today that that I know from a completely different setting. This group that gets together and has these periodic, or every Friday they have a group that gets together, and right now they're doing it virtually over Zoom, and they've done it for years. And it's just a collection of folks that get together and talk about, technology and life and trends in Austin, and it's really neat. And there was someone in that group that had known Rich for all these years as well, and he and I had never really met before. You know, so Rich is definitely kind of one of those people at the center of a wheel with a lot of spokes going off in different directions, right?
Right.
Really
And
was.
I thought the combination of him playing with Red Vocart was interesting.
Yeah.
Did you ever hear that?
I did.
Because I don't.
I heard them a few times at the Continental doing that thing.
Yeah.
It was cool. Yeah. Rich was very versatile. He
he was.
he did. Sometimes people would peg him with that Oscar Peterson kind of thing, and then you'd hear him in a different setting, really stretching and in a very, playing outside in ways that you didn't realize he could. He was one of the most versatile musicians that I've ever played with. I really think.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, and so it was so cool that he got to I have a recording with him. So.
Oh yeah. Well, let's play that cut.
It's just play it.
And you want to say anything about this cut in particular?
Well, the whole record, that whole album was supposed to be the jazz version soundtrack of the movie La La Land.
Okay. That
Aaron put together. He charted the whole album, and I never even saw the movie until later on. I saw the movie and I went, oh, I recognize that song. Oh yeah, I recognize that song. I started recognizing the songs that we had actually recorded, but we did it with a jazz version of it, which is really cool.
Yeah, nice.
And so on that album, actually, there's two different bass players and two different piano players playing different cuts, of course, So, like, he wanted to use the Jazz Vatos rhythm section for some of the Latin tunes that we did. And then more of the swing stuff, he had Rich and Pat playing bass.
Pat Harris?
Pat Harris playing bass.
Yeah, great bass player. Yeah.
So he's on this cut. It's Pat Harris,
Rich,
and Aaron and Rich and myself.
All right. Terrific. Okay, someone in the crowd. Here we go. Nice cut, Ernie. Swinging.
Yeah, it's a fun album. It's a fun album.
Aaron's playing vibes, right?
Yeah, Aaron's playing vibes.
Yeah.
And he's an excellent drummer, and
Yeah.
and then he plays that steel pan. That's what blows my mind is that steel pan, because it's got all these, steel pan has all these dents inside and stuff. And I don't know how he knows which one is the notes. For
I know.
A dented piece of oil can or whatever you call it. Like how the hell you get music out of that thing?
I know.
It's phenomenal, and he plays the heck out of it, man.
It really, you have to. You have to remember what to hit when and where. Yeah, you've got.
We had a band called the Monsters, and that was an interesting band because that was. And I'm sorry I didn't give you a cut off of that, but it was with Matt Smith, who's a great guitarist who moved here from New York. He has a studio. In fact, he's been working with a lot of players. It's called Six String Ranch. And they do a lot of session work, all kinds of things,
Cool.
But he was a guitar player in this band, and so he kept coming down here because his parents lived here, and then Brian Mitchell, keyboard player, his parents lived here, so they were coming back down from New York. And one day he said, "Hey, let's put this band together." So I got Joe Morales to play sax, and then I got Brian Mitchell, who's recorded with Bob Dylan and recorded all these people in New York. And then they're doing this thing with Levon Helm and his theater up in Woodstock, all that stuff, And I had Aaron playing steel pan on this particular band, and the combination of those instruments was it was a totally different kind of bag,
Yeah, right.
And it had Brad Taylor playing bass, and then I think. I forgot the other bass player's name, but anyway, it was really cool. I have one record of that. We did one record, which I still have, and I have a lot of these one recording thing. I got a whole bunch of one recording things.
How many records? How many records are you on? Any idea?
Well, I'd have to show you, but they're up here on my rack. I don't know. It's hard to tell, but. Just from looking at the rack up there, I can see at least maybe 25, 30 of them, not that much, I mean, they're just all different recordings with just session people, people that call me for things, like I did Townes Van Zandt, I did Merle Haggard.
Yeah.
Just country stuff. Johnny Bush.
Yeah. That's
what's
cool.
his name? Raul Malo. I did Raul Malo. And then, of course, we did one with Willie. And
what did you do with Willie? What did you do with Willie?
Well, actually, he was a sideman. We were both sidemen on this thing called J.R. Chatwell, and J.R. Chatwell was one of our mentors from San Antonio, and Willie was on it, and Johnny Gimbel, Doug Sahm produced it.
Wow.
And I'll tell you a funny story about that. J.R. Chatwell, he was. Close to 80 years old, kind of like me. He was smoking some of that Willie weed, in the studio. And so we were recording, and he kept skipping a beat, kept like jumping the meter. And Doug says to him, "Hey man, JR, you keep skipping a beat here, man. He goes, he's really stoned, and he looks at him, he goes, "Hey man, what's a little time between friends?"
I'm going to remember that line when I'm skipping beats.
Yeah, just say, "Hey, man, what's a little time between friends?"
That's a good line. I like that.
And I went, "Hey, he's right. Why do you want to get all uptight over something like that,
Just adjust, man.
We're having fun. We're playing music. We're having a good time. What's a little time between friends?
Yeah. Well, there's nothing like the life we're going through right now to make people less uptight about missing a beat now and then, right?
Right, yeah. No kidding.
It's like I'd show up just to hit a snare drum, bam, and go back home, That'd be enough.
Right.
I'd be grateful for that moment.
Man. No kidding, man. Absolutely. But I've been practicing a lot. I'm sitting back there practicing my rudiments.
Good for you, man. I need to do that. Yeah. I need to practice.
The thing is, I'm working out of the Ted Reed book, and I've had some, some of my other books. And reason too is because I want to just stay flexible, but also at my age, they say the reading of notes or crossword puzzles, anything to ward off dementia, right? Because you want to keep the brain active.
Yeah, yeah.
Like keep physically active by walking, but also you got to keep the brain active.
Yeah.
And so that's part of reading through the books and reading through the notes and stuff. It really, really does. It makes my and it's a little bit hard on my eyes because my eyesight at my age is getting a little kind of. I went and had these what you call 3.0 restore lenses implanted in my eyes. Wow. And I was just like, I have the best eye doctor. If you ever need a good eye doctor, he's excellent, man. He's a young guy, but he really knows what he's doing.
Well, man,
I had restore lenses.
Okay.
And I can see. Before I always had to wear glasses, and so if I was playing or something, and if I hit a rim shot or something, the glasses would go, and then I couldn't see nothing, man. Oh shit, I can't see the music now. What am I going to do, right? So even with the string, I'd have the string around the glasses.
Yeah, right.
And I'd be playing, like, boom, they fall.
Right.
And I'm going, So finally, I said, you know what? I have Medicare now. I'm the age of Medicare, so I went in there and I said to the doctor, I said, look, so what can we do? I have a cataract. I said, oh, okay, well, yeah, you do. We're thinking, let's do these lenses. And he said, but Medicare only pays for distant lenses. He said, we need to do you want to get the trifocal lenses, but you're going to have to pay out of pocket for those. I said, well, how much is that? But back then, $2,000 per eye. I said, you know what? Okay, let's do it.
Yeah.
But we do one eye, and then 2 weeks later, we come do the other eye. Yeah. And it was over here at Howerton, over on I-35.
That must have been a weird 2 weeks.
It was weird. You're walking around with one eye.
Yeah.
And it's funny because after they do your one eye, they give you a barbecue dinner to go home with. Oh, here's your barbecue dinner.
And you keep reaching for it and picking up your shoe instead because you're not able to focus on the barbecue.
Exactly. But it's amazing, man. What that lens, what they did. They're developed in Switzerland. It's called 3. You can Google that 3.0 restore lenses. And I used to have these reader glasses all over the house and everywhere else, And I remember I was going to play a concert, big band concert. I think I was playing with Mellinger's big band at one of the theaters, and I had all the charts, and I set them on top of the car. You ever done that? I set them on top of the car for whatever reason. I set them on top of the car, and then I got in the car and I drove off, and I looked through the rearview mirror, and there was all the charts flying down the street. I went, oh shit!
Oh no!
Yeah.
So
I jumped out of the car. I had to stop the traffic. Cars coming, and I'm running around picking up charts from the ground. Right. Well, while I was doing that, my glasses fell. And I didn't realize that they did because I was so freaked out or everything. By the time we got to the gig, I said, I have no glasses, so now man. I can't even. I got the charts, but now I can't see them. Yeah. Right. So, and I think somebody ran over him or something.
Yeah. So
I went in my glove compartment. I always had the emergency glasses, right? And there was another pair of readers in my glove compartment, and I was able to get through that. That's when I decided, you know what, I'm going to do something about these.
Yeah. So has it been good? Has it stayed?
It's been amazing. It's been amazing. I see a little bit of halos from if cars are coming, I see little halos, but as the cars get closer to me, the halos disappear.
Yeah.
Or the red lights, I see the red lights, the little halos, and they're never going to go away. But the mind is amazing because what happens is I'll see those halos if I'm looking for them. Now it's cut to that. Like my brain has just said,
yeah, all
right, you don't want to see those halos. Okay, I don't see them. I can drive at night. I don't see them. But if I say, what are those halos? Oh, they're still there. Wow. And that tells me that the lenses are working good. Everything is fine, you know.
I wonder if
So
that'd
it's
work.
weird.
I wonder if that'd work for the president if he was only there if we saw him, you know. If we only thought about him. If we
Yeah.
stopped thinking about him, he just wouldn't be there anymore. He'd just disappear, you know.
Well,
Sorry about that.
can-
Didn't mean to divert into that subject. I just couldn't help it because I like that. I like that idea about not seeing the halos unless you want them.
exactly, man.
I'm
I
glad
mean,
you got
it's
that
like-
done.
Yeah, it works
you know.
great. I mean, it's, you know, and I see it when I'm around a lot of my friends and they're talking, and I'll show them something like, I want to show you, here's the CD, and I see them squinting like this. They're going, oh, I can't. I say, oh my God.
Yeah, I got a place in Switzerland for you. Of course, with the lockdown, you'll have to take your eyes out and mail them to them, and then they'll fix them and send them back. So, right.
Yep. So just to tell you, I'm gonna do a shout out because my eye doctor, you know,
Yeah.
Fender Rhodes is obviously the keyboard Fender Rhodes. You know how
Yeah.
you spell Rhodes.
Yeah.
Well, this is Dr. Rhodes.
Okay.
Kyle Rhodes, like Kyle, like the city of Kyle.
Okay.
Kyle Rhodes. He's up there on 620. Young guy, but he really is. He's the best eye doctor. And some of the other musicians have gone to him, like Jimmy Hilbert has gone to him, and country singer guy here in town. I can't remember the names anymore, but a lot of musicians have gone to him. You know?
Okay. Kyle Rhodes.
Like the Fender Rhodes.
Yeah, inventor of the Fender
Rhodes.
Rhodes is now doing eye work in North Austin.
Exactly.
So, okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'll shut up now.
No,
What do you
that's
guys-
good.
What do you want to play?
No, that's excellent. Let's play a Vatos cut. What do you say?
Yeah, sure.
Now the shuffle. I was asking you for one of those signature Texas shuffles that you're so good at. That's a Tornadoes tune, though, right? Maybe we should do that and then come back to Vatos. What do you say?
The Vatos thing is a shuffle. I don't think I have a Tornadoes.
Oh no, okay.
a
Let's do the
shuffle on
Vatos shuffle because.
it. Yeah, there's only one shuffle in there.
Is that JJ's blues?
Yeah. mhm.
Okay, so
Yes.
the reason I wanted to hear Ernie play a shuffle is when I first moved to Austin in 1981. I think it was 1981, or maybe fall of 80. I can't remember. But I was walking down Congress Avenue right when I got to town, about 8 o'clock or 8:30 in the evening, summer night. Never been to Austin before. Once when I was young, but I didn't remember it. And I'm like, oh man, I'm from Amarillo. Now I'm in Austin. This is cool. I've heard about how great the city is. I want to hear some music. And I'm walking down Congress, and right between 4th and 3rd, you know, Elephant's on one side of the street and El Mercado's across the street. It wasn't El Mercado then. I don't know what it was. At one point it was. Oh no, it was. I'm sorry, not El Mercado. Manuel's. At one point before it was Manuel's, it was called Piggy's, and then before that, it was something else.
That's right.
But at this time, I don't know what it was, but there was a place in that block called Gambrinus, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm walking down, and I look through the glass, and I see this band playing, and I walk in, and Ernie's playing drums, laying down this beautiful shuffle, which it just totally captivates me. I think Spencer Starnes was playing bass. I can't remember if it was Fred Walters or Julie. But or Fred Walters or Hank Hemsoth. I think Julie Christensen was singing. And I give it a second.
Yeah, that's weird. What I did is I rebooted just in case it was my phone or something.
Yeah, I'm not sure why I lost connection, but I think we're coming back up here. Yeah, I think we're back. Are we back? All right.
I hear you.
Hello again, everybody. Sorry about the drop. My internet just died and then it came back. So that's what you get for living in Cedar Park. You know, we lose internet out here. It's kind of our thing. I think I'm back. So maybe.
Have somebody send you a message or something.
Yeah, maybe if anybody's still watching and you find the connection, just shoot me a message on Facebook over in the comments section for the stream. Let me know you found us again. So anyway, we were talking about shuffles and me hearing Ernie playing this fantastic shuffle and going back to my Riverside apartment and setting up a skeleton drum set and working on that shuffle for the next 2 days, trying to learn how to do it because it was so cool. So I would love to play. I would love to. Oh, good. Someone, Donna Menthal is on.
Oh,
and,
hi, Donna.
and she said we're back.
Good.
Yeah, sorry we lost you guys. Internet problems. So we should lay a shuffle on them. And this is JJ's Blues. Who's playing with you again? It's you and Steve and Ernie.
Yeah, same guys.
Same guys.
Yeah,
okay.
Los Jazz Vatos. Yeah.
All right.
The new album.
Okay, let's play this tune and then we'll come back and keep visiting here.
A little skip in there. I don't know why I was skipping. You hear it skip a couple of places?
I think it may have just been the Skype call.
Yeah.
It sounded good on my end.
Oh, okay. Good.
Yeah, I think it translated through the stream anyway. Skype can be funky sometimes, but yeah, that was some good home cooking right there. That's some swinging shuffle. You were talking a little bit about that before we started. Just the art of the shuffle. You want to say anything about that?
Well, it's funny because when I was in Chicago, I studied with Roy Knapp. Okay, Roy Knapp was the dean of percussion instructors. He taught Gene Krupa, the most famous.
Wow.
Hal Blaine, Louis Bellson.
Wow.
And the list goes on and on and
yeah.
on. I was very lucky to meet him, when he was 83, when I started studying with him. But on the shuffle thing, we were talking about it, and he said, I don't have a stick here in front of me, but it was just he's talking about rebound. He says the word rebound. So you a double shuffle, you did it together, rebound, and then you accent the 2 and the 4. So, but there's so many variations of the shuffle, and every drummer out there is so different. Everybody has their own way of grooving to the shuffling,
What is it about that groove that, and it's swing, there was a whole swing era because there's something about the swing groove that just captivates it. There must be a true organic connection with your body's own rhythms,
The swing and the shuffle are first cousins.
Mm-hmm.
They're first cousins, man. So that's why in the middle of that, I just went to swing, because after a while, your left hand starts like that wrist, like, especially when you get older like me, but oh shit, there goes my phone.
That's okay. I can still hear you. As long as you're okay.
I yanked on my cord here.
That's what happens when you're shuffling too hard, right there.
I'm so deaf, man. I'm drummer deaf.
Yeah. You
I don't know how many drummers out there are drummer deaf.
You said something to me about hanging out with Chris Layton about shuffles, when he was first getting going with Stevie Ray.
Right. He called me up one time and he said, "Hey, you can come over to my house." And he was living on Mary Street or something. And so I went over there. He had a couple of drum kits, and we just kind of went through shuffle grooves and things like that, And then later on, it's like they made it huge and big and stuff. Not because I taught him to shuffle, but he was just
everybody gleans.
Great,
Yeah, I mean, you're an important part of the Austin scene for drummers, learning how to, to get deep into that feel and other things too. There's a lot about your playing, I think, that is very instructive. It always has been to me. Just like you and Steve Metter and Mambo and, you guys really influenced me a lot.
Those guys, Steve Metter was one of the first drummers I heard when I came to Austin. He was playing the Blue Parrot. That place is called the Blue Parrot, and I think he was playing with James Polk.
Yeah, and company.
Those guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he was one of the guys that I came to town and said, "Wow, I like that drummer, man. He's a groover,
Yeah, isn't he great?
And now I don't see him anymore. I don't know what happened. I mean, I see him on Facebook now and then. But,
well, he left Austin. He left Austin later 80s, I guess, and moved back to Lubbock to, I think, take over his father's business.
Is that where he is now? In Lubbock?
Well, no, he's back. He lives in Marble Falls.
That's what I thought.
He's back in the area, and he still plays some. And we talk. I had all those guys on for one of these shows. He and Roscoe and Paul Ostermeyer and Mitch and Jennifer Lawrence all came on.
Passenger, the band called Passenger.
Passenger, yeah. I mean, they were such a big influence.
Yeah. And the piano player, what was his name?
Bill Ginn. Bill Ginn.
Bill Ginn, yeah. He passed away, though, didn't he?
He did, yeah.
Yeah.
And all those guys were cutting their teeth with James Polk when it was James Polk and Company at the Blue Parrot that you talked about, and then Casablanca, I think.
Yeah.
Which was all right before I got here.
So you and Elias, you guys have been playing with James Spoke a lot. I mean, I come and hear you at the gallery when I get a chance to go, and that's such a cool gig, man.
Oh,
and I always loved to hear you guys. And I love Elias. I mean, I have both of his. I have two of his CDs. I'd say.
Yeah.
I don't know how many he has.
He's got
out,
about 5 or
two,
6, I think, at least.
Well, I have 2 of them.
Yeah.
And a lot of times I'll walk in, I'll just buy them right at the stage from me. I want to buy one of your CDs, man.
Yeah, you don't.
I think he was trying to give me one for free one day. He said, "No, man, I'm gonna pay you for this CD."
Everybody in this town of plays be honored to have you own one of their CDs, Ernie.
Well,
I love that gig too. I miss that gig so much. We were
I can't imagine.
We were at the 7-year mark, and I hope that we get to come back and keep playing. When the time is right, and I hope it's soon. But we miss that. It's very, very hard to not have that every week. This has been a powerful lesson for me to not take things like that for granted. I mean, there would be Mondays when I'm like, I don't feel like going tonight or whatever, but I drag myself down there, and I'd always feel better once I played. But I can't believe I ever even thought that, because I wish I could go so much right now.
And Annie has always invited me to go there. Annie. You go, hey,
Annie's great.
Let's go hear some jazz. I call Annie the jazz chick, of Austin, and she's a musician's best friend too in Austin too.
Yeah, with her
she's
rehearsal
a sweet lady,
space.
Man.
Yeah.
The rehearsal space is great, and I think Brandon Temple's living over there at her house now, or in the house in the back. I think he rents from her. But yeah, she's been so supportive for all the musicians. She's helped me out a lot. She came the other day and brought me a couple of face masks. Here, Ernie, got you some face masks. I said,
man, when you see her, tell her hi for me the next time you see her. I haven't seen her in months. I haven't seen anybody in months other than
none of us. Yeah,
just like this. This is
we've been sitting at home for. This is terrible, man. It's like And I was hearing my friends up in Nashville. They're like nothing going on there. Some of the guys that I know from Delbert McClinton's band are. It's nothing, and it's in Vegas is shut down. I mean, Austin. I mean, like this is terrible, man.
Yeah, I wonder when it's going to eat. I wonder when we think we're going to be able to get out again. I have a feeling we're going to have to make it through this winter.
This year shot. I mean, we won't. And here's the thing. Like today, I got to show you, man. I still have it. I had my flu shot today.
Mm-hmm.
I went and got my flu shot today because I figured, I better jump on that, and because now if you add the flu shot to what's going on, it could be really bad. I don't know, because I just went in there today. I said, I want my flu shot.
What part of town are you in? Where'd you go?
I'm in South Austin. I went over to Randall's.
Okay.
Yeah, the pharmacy there at Randall's.
Yeah.
And the guy, Bill that works there, he's a great pharmacist. So he said, yeah, man. He says, I got this stuff it's the power thing for over 65, the extra boost.
There you go.
A flu shot, I mean, I had to have, he's always giving me some kind of shot for, what do you call it? That stuff gets all over your face. It's horrible, man. But I had those shots, 2 of those. And, you just got to try to stay alive somehow, Well,
you heard it here from Ernie. Get on over to Bill at Randall's, and he'll take care of you.
Absolutely, man.
He'll get you ready.
So anyway, I guess the only thing we have not played or talked about was the Texas Tornadoes, which is really my claim to fame for those guys.
Well, one of your claims to fame, but a big one. Why don't you talk about them a little bit, and then let's play that video.
Yeah, play a cut. Yeah. Those guys, it started it started out as a Sir Douglas Quintet. It was when Doug Sahm used to be kind of the kingpin of Austin. Mm-hmm. That's kind of why I came down here, 1976, I think. He was like him and Willie were the two heavyweights of Austin,
Yeah.
But, so I had known him in San Antonio. We grew up together in San Antonio. So I knew him kind of like when we were 16, 17 years old. We used to play these little teeny bopper, little teen canteen, high school gigs, things like that. But then there was a time where he went out to the West Coast and he went through that whole Haight-Ashbury, hanging out with Jerry Garcia and that whole trip, and I didn't, because I got in trouble with the law around 1962, and it wasn't even anything other than some marijuana, but it wasn't even mine. That's the whole thing. It was just found. It was in somebody's suitcase. It was found in my car. Yeah. So they're trying to charge me like, well, it's in your car. It's yours. I said, no, it's not. But I spent 4 days in the Gonzales County Jail. But you talk about 1962.
Damn.
That was serious. 1962, you could have gone to prison forever. But I had a good lawyer, and I got out, and they finally figured out, Ernie, he's cool. Yeah. He's all right. Let him go.
Listen to his shuffle, man. Listen to his shuffle. You'll let him go.
Scared me, man. Scared me.
Oh,
but so in '89, I was back here. Doug called me from San Marcos, and he said, "Hey, man, I want you to come down here and play me that Donkey Yonka beat you play." Donkey Yonka? What do you mean, Donkey Yonka? Oh, you mean that bolero beat? That's what it means. Oh, you call it Donkey Yonka, keep boom boom Donkey Yonka, right? So, oh, you mean that's a bolero beat, man? Okay, so we went there and we got that first album, Texas Tornadoes, and he had gotten together and he it was always just him and Augie Myers, but then he recruited Freddy Fender and then he got Flaco Jimenez in there, and that's how the Tornadoes were kind of. They actually had played a gig before that in San Francisco, and they played at Boss Skaggs Club.
Wow!
And the line was across 2 blocks, man. And they weren't called the Texas Tornadoes. They were called like the Tex-Mex Review or some kind of name like that. And they went. Doug goes, man, I think we got something here.
Yeah.
So we went out to San Marcos, cut that first album, and we played a couple of those tunes with that beat, and then some Tex-Mex stuff. And there was actually 3 drummers on that first album. It was me, it was George Raines, and Mike Buck. And so luckily it was my track that won the Grammy.
Yeah.
And I said, oh, cool. That's good. I was excited. I was like, oh, wow. And Doug called me from New York when they had the Grammys in New York. He goes, hey, Ernie, we won, man. We won a Grammy. Said, oh, cool.
Where's yours, man? Where's your Grammy?
Where is it? Good question. Yeah. I have my plaque, my Grammy plaques.
Well, that's good enough.
But it was kind of one of those things where the thing about playing with the Tornadoes was, okay, you had 4 guys that they all had their own bands. It's like there was one drummer trying to make 4 band leaders happy.
Yeah.
That wasn't, I mean, I had Flaco Jimenez, I had Augie Myers, I had Doug Sahm, and I had Freddy Fender.
That's a lot that's a lot of chiefs in one room.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. But they were so busy with each other, egos clashing and all that shit. They didn't even knew I was back there, And I'd be back there looking at them, and sometimes they would call in one guy would call one tune and the other guy would call the other tune, 2 different tunes. I'm going, okay, who am I going to follow here? I mean, like you start counting off 2 different songs at the same time, right? So, but that didn't happen that often. But, you did that first record and it just went boom, It's like all of a sudden we were on top of the world, man. We were all over the place,
What
traveling.
A killer. Yeah. What a great experience. Was that an awesome experience? I mean, it must have really been a thrill.
It really was an experience. And people, the next thing you know is I was playing at the base of Mount Fuji, Japan.
Wow.
In Mount Fuji, you could see at Mount Fuji, like it was really close to us, and we were doing sound check and going, I don't know if I'm going to hit the kick drum too hard, man. I might set off Mount Fuji here.
Yeah, was there snow?
Sound check.
You don't want to avalanche.
It's a boom,
right?
boom, boom, boom. Hit this kick drum and go, I might set off Mount Fuji, man, because it looks like it's just right up there, but it's really far away. You know? And of course, then we did the whole European thing, and it just it was really cool, But then, and that actually happened after my Delbert McClinton days too, because that's a whole nother life of Ernie.
Yeah.
When I did Delbert McClinton, and I met him here in Austin, and that was my fun time with him, touring with him for about 4 years.
Yeah.
Off and on, and then I ended up doing Saturday Night Live, Solid Gold, Austin City Limits, and plus traveling all over the place with him. And
so cool.
that was a great band. And so for me, it was so exciting that he got to play with two of the best Texas blues singers, you know, and like legends, you know, Delbert McClinton and Doug Sahm.
And Doug, yeah.
Yeah, those two. And to say I got to play with both these guys. And it was a learning experience. It was such a cool for me to play with these guys. And, of course, they played a lot of shuffles, man.
Yeah.
Man, I used to play, and sometimes we played with shuffles so hard with Delbert to play the shuffles so hard, I literally had blood on my hand.
I believe
it. Because I would get these blood blisters. You know, I get these blisters.
And then you couldn't stop.
And you know, and you're just going like this. And I said, man, I can't play it any harder. I'm bleeding, you know.
Yeah.
It's like, and it's like, so, and I'd have to get that new skin. I had to go to the drugstore, get new skin, and put a new skin up there, building up the callus, you know. And I used to get these big calluses. And it was
should have just been using a glove, man, you know? When you're playing that hard.
Well, I couldn't feel with the glove. I lose the feel.
Yeah.
But, you know, so playing that hard, but even like the pain that I went through stuff, still the feeling I was getting from the music, and you know the passion behind it, I didn't care. It's like, oh man, you know, this is. I mean, I'm loving this, man. You know, this is insane. And we got to New York in 78, 79. Literally took over New York, and we played in Lone Star Cafe in New York City. And everybody looked out, and everybody was in New York. So that John Belushi comes up. He wants to sit in with us. He gets up and starts playing with us. That's how we got invited to Saturday Night Live. And Belushi, Dan Aykroyd, and all these guys were on stage at the same time.
Wow.
Elvis Costello, Jimmy Buffett, and I look out and Bette Midler's sitting out here, and Mick Jagger's over there. I'm going, holy shit, man! I was like, wow. You know,
that is so cool.
And they had all come to see this band, and it was one of the best blues bands I'd ever been in. You know, and but now it's different. He's got a different band now, and they're really good. I heard him in Nashville about 3 years ago. I went up and I went to their gig, and it's a great band, excellent. He's always had good bands.
You know that time when you guys were doing that was so special too. When you think about those, when you think about the age that all those artists that you described were at, you know, in their prime, you know, doing so much music, and the music scene was so different, and those towns, all these towns were so different. The atmosphere in the country was different. It was it was a special thing. It's not that we didn't have problems, but it was a very different world than what we're dealing with now. And the music business hadn't been commoditized to death the way it has since the internet, you know. But boy, that club you mentioned in New York, the Lone Star Cafe, I remember I lived there 1 year in the mid 80s, and Peter Erskine, whom I got to know, said, "Oh, you've got to get down to the Lone Star Cafe tonight and hear this band from New Orleans called the Neville Brothers, man." I'd never heard of them, and I went and I saw them at the Lone Star, and it was the same thing. I saw all these famous people in the room, and they were killing it. And I'm sure it was just like what you were experiencing that night with all those people in the room. The energy that all of that brings and adds to what you're already feeling playing that music must have just been unbelievable.
See, before he got up on stage, you know, was it maybe after he played? Yes, after he played, I was sitting next to him in Belushi, right? And he had these pants, and he had he just looked like he just painted a wall or something. It was like paint on him and stuff. And I looked over and I said, "Hey man, you sound really good." I said, "You have a band around here in town?" And this guy, he nudged me. He said, "That's the Star Saturday Night Live." I said, "Oh, okay." And then when he left, this big old limo pulls out, you know, and he gets in the limo, and it's like, oh my God.
Wow.
You know?
And then you guys went and did the show. You did the show shortly thereafter?
Well, no, he did it twice. He did it, and then I wasn't in the band at that time. You know, there were some things, you know, I think I got fired is what happened. But then he called me back. So the second time when he went, Bill Murray was our host.
Yeah.
Murray was our host. Well, Bill Murray introduced me. I actually have a video of that.
That is so cool.
I actually get the very first shot when they come back from the commercial. My whole face was on the screen. And Bill Murray's going, hey, like he's Delbert McClinton, and I had Bonnie Bramlett singing with us. But yeah, it was a great experience.
Man,
and then we flew from New York to L.A. to go do Dionne Warwick's Solid Gold.
Wow.
But that one, see, that's a little nervous because Saturday Night Live, you're actually playing. You're actually playing.
Yeah, right, live.
And speaking about Saturday Night Live, before I forget, Sean Pelton, who is the house drummer for Saturday Night Live, dear friend of mine, he has agreed to, because I'm writing a book about my life story.
Yeah, people have been asking in the chat about this.
Yeah.
Talk about that. When's the book? Where are you in that?
Well, I worked on it today with Anita Dunn, who's my co-writer, and she owns the place called The Barn over here on Brody. And she was here today, and we took a bunch of photos and stuff that she's going to scan for the book. I've been working on this book for a year. We've been working for about a year. I'm hoping that another 2-3 months we can get it. I don't know, but I'm getting some people that are just doing quotes for it. So Sean Pelton said, yeah, he's going to do a quote for me from Saturday Night Live. House drummer, what's his name?
Cool.
Michael Stevens, who plays with the sax player. I'm really getting bad at names. There's so much stuff going through my head right now. But
that's okay.
Dave Liebman.
Okay.
Dave Liebman,
okay.
sax player. That's who he plays with. Anyway, that, and then maybe SpongeBob. SpongeBob said he was, he did a thing on me too. SpongeBob. Tom Kenny. That's his real name, SpongeBob.
Okay.
And we met because SpongeBob was his big Tornadoes fan, so we actually played for his birthday party in Burbank.
Wow.
And he came up and sat in with us and sang with us, and I didn't even know who he was. And I was standing out by the bus, and he comes walking. He had a Hawaiian shirt on and a cowboy hat, and he walks past me and he goes, "Hey, Ernie." I went, "Hey, how you doing?" And I went, "Shit, I don't know who that was." And I went inside and I said to Sean, Doug's kid, I said, "Who's the guy with the Hawaiian shirt?" "Oh, that's Tom Kenny. That's the voice of SpongeBob. We're here. That's his birthday. We're playing for his birthday party." "Oh, okay." and then he got up and sang with it.
Wow.
Yeah, he's a musician. He got up and sang. He's an actor, musician, and everything
Yeah.
else. But
that's great stuff. I can't wait for your book to be available for people to be able to.
Well, the book is we're working on it, and I've never done this before, so it's taken a lot of work and a lot of editing. And I'm not one with good with punctuations and periods and commas and all that stuff, So I have to have somebody else that really knows how to do that part of it, the editing. I've done some editing, but as far as spelling.
What's a comma between friends, anyway? I mean.
Right. Yeah, you like that, Zori, huh? Hey, man, what's a little time between friends? So next time you're playing with Elias or somebody,
right.
if they give you a dirty look or something,
yeah.
Hey, man, what's a little time between friends?
I'll just drop a beat and then bring that up after the tune's over.
But yeah, so if you want to spin a Tornadoes, I could tell you the story before or after the tune.
Why don't we let's play it, and then why don't we come back and tell the story, and we can wrap on that for now.
Okay.
And then,
good.
But clearly
we're
gonna have to come back and do this again because there's so much more to talk about with you. This is fun.
There is, right.
And more music to play too. We only got through half the stuff, so. Let's, do we want to do Mendocino or Adios Mexicos?
Oh, I don't know. What do you have queued up? Either one?
Either one, yeah.
Yeah.
What are you feeling?
Do Mendocino. That's a real popular one.
Okay.
That's always been a good one.
Here's a little Texas Tornadoes. This is Austin City Limits?
Yes, because there's another version. We did a version that we did at the Montreux Jazz Festival, but that is
wow.
I don't think that's what I sent you. I think I sent you Austin City Limits.
Yeah, okay. Which means Facebook will, after this broadcast ends, Facebook will mute some of this stuff because they have a bot that crawls and it looks for music that they think is copyright protected and they'll mute it. But what I do is I take the recording of this and I stick it on YouTube and then archive it on my little website, which is on the screen. People can see more SL Radio at scottlandingham.com/SLRadio. That's where you'll be able to see this after it's over.
Okay, cool.
But let's go ahead and play this right now, Mendocino with Texas Tornadoes.
1969 all over again, Mendocino. Well, the Sir Douglas Quintet is back, and I thank all of our friends out there. We love you. Oh, Gene and Papa, teenage lover, I caught you away that night in my mind and wondering. Well, you're such a groove, play don't move, play stay in my love, out by the river. Fast talking guys, with strange red eyes, I put things in your head, thought you man who went dream. Well, I love you so, please don't go, please stay here with me in Mendocino. Mendocino, where lies such a groove, blow your man in the morning. We used to walk through the park, make love along the way in Mendocino. I'll give my year. Oh, baby, like I told you, can't you dig it, mama? Well, if you want a groove, I'll be glad to have you. Well, I love you so, please don't go, please stay here with me in Mendocino. Mendocino, where lies such a groove, blow your mind in the morning. We used to walk through the park, make love along the way in Mendocino. Flaco.
Did you lose the
Yep.
stick? Did you lose the stick right there at the very end?
No, but I tell you what, man, I was the only drummer in the whole history of Austin City Limits to ever play a drum solo on Austin City Limits.
Wow.
Yeah, and Terry Lacona told me that, producer.
That's amazing.
So he freaked out because I used to, at the end of a solo, I would take the sticks and toss them out into the audience.
Yeah.
And he goes, hey, you didn't poke anybody's eye out, did you? Because they'll sue us. I said, oh, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Somebody caught him out there, Yeah. Or they'd be fighting over him. You could poke somebody else's eye out. So I quit doing that. Freddie goes, don't toss those out there in the audience. Throw them backwards. Throw them back behind you, Yeah. I said, yeah, you're right. I ain't going to do that anymore.
You were grooving, man. That was great. You looked so badass back there with your sunglasses on yeah.
Oh, you saw the video, yeah.
Yeah, it was very cool. I'm sorry you couldn't see it. I got to figure that out how the guests can actually see what I'm seeing.
I've seen that video many times.
Yeah.
But
so what's your story that you wanted to close
okay.
this?
The story, we'll say that real quick. We were on our way. We were on a tour bus, right? And we were on our way to play in Seattle for the Bumper Sheet Festival. So we were traveling through Oregon, and the bus driver had been driving a long time. He was tired. So we figured, okay, you just stop and rest before we make the last few miles to Seattle. So I was sleeping in the bunk, and then the bus stopped. I heard everybody get out of the bus. I was in a bunk, and I got out of the bus. I got out of my bunk, and I looked over, and I saw like a Burger King. I said, Burger King. So I got out, and I went across the street to get the burger. And I came back, the bus was gone. I said, well, all right. So I went in the motel. I said, my friends, they didn't check in here. No, they left. They wanted. Okay. So I looked in my wallet. I said, I got credit cards. I got about $500 in cash. I guess I'll just fly back to Austin. But when they get to Seattle, they're gonna be surprised. Ain't no drummer dug in that bunk. And I'm sitting there like listening, and then all of a sudden, I hear the guy clerk answer the phone, and I hear him say, "Yeah, he's sitting right here." I'm sitting there eating my burger, and it's Freddy Fender. He gets in here. Hey man, what happened? Well, I don't know. I just went over to get a burger. You came back. You guys are gone. Well, we're over here across the town. Catch a cab. He told me where they were at. So I got in a cab and caught up with the rest of the band.
Oh, good. They were still in town.
But,
yeah.
Oh yeah, they were just they just went across. Apparently there was enough. I don't know why they didn't check into that place. But anyway, that's just one of millions of stories. Believe me.
That's a great story.
Anyway.
Has Chris Marsh told you his story about driving back from L.A. on a Mitch Watkins gig with Zirkle when they were?
But I can only imagine.
And he pulled into a gas station. Zirkle was asleep in the back, and he went in and got some chips or something and came out to fill up the tank. While he had gone in, Zirkle had awakened from the back seat and got out of the car and gone around the side into the men's room of the gas station. Well, Chris came back, got in the car, thought he was still asleep, and drove off. Zirkle came back out of the bathroom. He didn't have any shoes on, and Chris drove for 6 hours before he realized that there was no Zirkle in the back seat.
Oh my God! Oh no!
And he turned around and drove 6 hours back.
Oh.
And
God.
he got back and he found out that Zirkle was sitting on the side of the road. Isn't that hilarious? I mean, that's a 12-hour turnaround. That's
Well, let me tell you one thing. When you're in these motels, and like you step out of your room, the door always closes automatically. It's so heavy, it closes behind you. So never step out of your room if you had room service and you have your food on your tray, and you step out of your room in your underwear or whatever, and put the tray out in the hallway, because the door's going to shut behind you.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't have your key, you're stuck in the hallway in your underwear.
In your underwear, that could be rough.
Yeah, and they got, now I got to go down and get a key down to the desk. That didn't happen to me, but it did happen to somebody.
Oh, darn! I thought you were going to tell us about when it happened to you.
No, it didn't happen to me. I know that to put that thing on the door if I need to go out, or I carry my key.
If you're gonna, if just to be prepared for those kinds of things happening, you want to wear underwear that looks a little bit like a pair of shorts, probably.
Exactly.
Right? So you can just wander right down to the lobby and get a new key, and nobody knows the difference. Either that or they think you're
so
bold.
many stories, man. And one last one, I'll tell you. We were in Houston one time, and Augie's kid. The room numbers of these motel things were they were Velcroed on. They Velcroed. So he went in there and he took the room numbers. He changed them all over the place, right? So come back. I had to use the bathroom really bad that night, and I'm trying. Wait a minute, this is my room. It's like, how come his key's not working in here? It's like, and he's just like laughing like crazy,
Yeah.
Because he just pulled this big old joke on us, And then of course, in this business, you go from the Roach Motel to the fancy Hyatt hotels, and the Roach Motel is a little complicated. I'll tell you some other time on that one.
Yeah, you and I we could do a whole episode on Roach Motels. I've got some Roach Motels. I had so many Roach Motels. I wrote a song about called Roach Boogie. I've played it on this show.
Really?
Yeah, it's all about an encounter with an invasion of roaches. But
yeah, man, that happened to us right outside of Houston. And I won't. Well, it was called the Night's Inn, the K Night's Inn. Nasty, terrible.
You didn't lose anybody to the roaches, did you? You didn't lose any.
No, but
personnel.
You know what? When we called down, we said we need a different room. This room's got roaches in it, And they said, "Oh, well, come down and get the key." So give us a key to this other room. We open the door. Well, it's an empty room with a mattress on the wall. It's got blood stains on it.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
nice.
Well, we call. Sorry, but there's no beds in that room. You got a mattress with bloodstains on it. Oh, I'm sorry. Here's another key. Try this room. We go to this other room. Hey, there's somebody in there. There's already somebody in there.
Wow.
We can't.
So 3 strikes, you're out, baby.
That's when I said, you know what?
Yeah.
I'm driving back to Austin.
Yeah.
I'm so sleepy and tired that God's going to drive this far tonight, because I'm just going to, because we called everywhere that there was no vacancies anywhere. So I get in my car, drove back from Houston, and I'm sticking my head out the window, I'm stopping and
slapping yourself.
I'm washing my face, and I'm getting these energy drinks, and and I'm driving and I'm thinking, oh my God. And as soon as I saw the sign that said Bastrop, I went, oh yeah, I'm getting close, I can make it. I know I can make it. And I must have been weaving down that highway on the way back. But
oh man.
When I finally made it home, man. See, people don't know what musicians have to go through sometimes just to go play a gig.
Oh, I know. Yeah, we have to drive down in the median between the two sides of the expressway, mowing down grass. That's one of the reasons that the Texas interstates are so well mowed most of the time anyway. It's not just official mowing. It's musicians driving down there while they're asleep, cutting that grass down, right? So
yeah. Man, this has sure been a lot of fun.
Oh,
Scott, I really, really appreciate being able to do this with you. It's really, really have fun. You actually, I needed something to lift me through this doldrums that I've been going through.
I feel you, man.
Really, it's a big lift for me tonight.
I'm so glad. I feel you, and it's so good to see your face and to just talk with you like this. It's been a long time since we've gotten to visit this long.
Actually.
And we should do it again. And I'm so glad to have so many people have tuned in, and a lot of people sending you love. You'll be able to go back and look at the replay and see all those comments.
Oh yeah, so, cool. Yeah, and I want to give before we leave a shout out to my buddy Tim Shahadi from Paishti Cymbals, because I knew he's texted me today, so hopefully he's watching.
Very
he's
cool.
Artist relations guy from them, and then. Also, my stick company in Nashville, Innovative Percussion.
Yeah.
Those people, they're really wonderful people. I'm really lucky, and I just got a new deal with I had hardware bags.
Cool.
Yeah, and those I had just gone to Tommy's. I've bought 3 of them from Tommy's. So just after I bought this last one, Wayne, who is the artist relations guy. his birthday's the same day as my birthday, except he's many years younger. Anyway, he's a new artist relations guy, so he said, yeah, I want you to join the team here.
Cool.
I said, oh, great. So
man, that's
got
great.
That. And so
Peisty Cymbals,
of course.
Peisty Cymbals,
Peisty
Innovative
Cymbals.
Percussion. Yeah, good companies.
And of course, Evans Drumheads, Steve over there. Steve at Evans is he's the best. That guy is top. I mean, I'm very fortunate that these people are just so supportive, and I feel blessed, man. I really do.
Well, you're Ernie Durawa, man.
And I thank everybody out there that's watching, and I thank you for watching this. And I'm going to be watching you. Who's your next guest?
I don't know.
Have you anybody?
I don't have one yet. I've been, I called Robert Skiles. We talked the other night about getting he and Mordecai on, and maybe John Mills. Maybe Laura. Talk about some old stories to go picking up right where you left off. There's some great stories that we could tell about and just hear those guys. But this has been great, so much fun, and I really appreciate you. And
well, I appreciate you, man.
Yeah, you've given us so much great music, and you're still doing it, and you're gonna come back and do it, and you're gonna have to come back and talk some more about this book because you're full of stories. It's awesome.
When we get it done, completely finished and everything, then I'll be like trying to promote it. Then I'll call you.
All right.
We can do that again. I'll have a little book talk.
Thank you, Ernie.
Thank you.
Okay, everybody, hit that Zelle link. It's Ernie's phone number. You can send him any kind of tip you want. Support his book project. And keep him out of Roach Motels. That's the goal here.
No kidding.
And thank you for tuning in. And we'll be back with one of these soon.
You,
we'll come up with another great guest, but we're gonna have Ernie back because he rocked it. Okay, bud.
Thanks a lot, buddy.
Take care. Love you, man.
Love you too, man.